Hey guys, it's West here, back with episode 8 of From the Crumbs. A bit has happened since the last episode. I did wait a few days before creating this episode because I wanted some more progress than what I had at the time, and now I've got enough where I feel like I can, talk for a few minutes about some of the changes that have happened on my account. So without further ado, I'll hop right into it. So since last time, I have cleared TOA normal and quite a few levels of TOA hard, trying to gather up summoning stones for that amazing rotation. It was the Leica Sierra Wusa rotation. Of course, the chances of getting a Nat 5 are very, very slim, but I might as well summon for it since I'm obsessed with all the Dragon Knights. Notable summons from that, nothing from the stones. I did summon my legendary scroll. I did get the Fire Rakshasa Hua. Amazing monster. I can't wait to build her. I might put her in my Giants team as well. I know she's a fire monster, but she takes down the crystals with quite a bit of efficiency, and even though she's a fire monster, she could still do quite a bit of damage to the water monsters and the boss. So I do look forward to building her. She's also a crazy damage dealer for raids and for guild wars and arena, so she's got a lot of uses. She's a speed-based damage dealer as well. Other than that, Nat 4s, nothing too big. I did get this guy. I got some lightning from LD Scroll, which is kind of cool. If I'd gotten Diaz, I probably would have been a little bit salty because, Hall of Heroes monsters aren't always the most exciting to get, and usually they're fairly balanced, so they're not as OP as they can be. I haven't really seen too many people build this unit. I have seen his third skill. He is an attack-based unit, and he has a revive if you kill a monster, so I think that's pretty cool. Of course, I'd have to experiment with him more. He looks like he would want either Violent or just crazy damage dealer runes on whatever you could put him on, Fatal Blade. But Violent seems really nice because you can go ahead and revive a unit and then, I don't know, but he's really weird. He's got damage based on HP and attack at the same time, so he still looks like he could be a pretty good bruiser in Guild Wars. Probably not in Arena, but Guild Wars and Guild Siege, he's probably got some good uses. I am still hunting for runes for some of my extra monsters like Fae. I do want to run a speed crit damage attack build because as I have been paying attention more to how others use Fae, I have seen that most of the time their Fae gets shut down if the Fae isn't plus 60 to plus 80 speed. Plus 100 is ideal, but it's pretty hard to reach with the high damage or the high attack requirements that she has. I did put that attack percent slot 6 that I was talking about on Hraesvelg, and it didn't lower his accuracy below the cap, which was really nice. I still need a plus 15 that rune, and I also got this rune. I was extremely excited about that. I got this today. It is a 6-star crit damage rune. It is the first of its kind on my account at least. So fatal 6-star crit damage percentage with crit rate and speed subs is pretty amazing. It did have a max space roll into crit rate and it has a space roll of 4 into speed, and then it rolled 4, and then it rolled 5. So the speed turned out pretty decently well. It's got built-in accuracy, which isn't terrible for Hraesvelg. It could be a little bit nicer if the built-in accuracy was 8%, because then it would reduce the requirements of my other substats, but I'm not really upset about that. The other two stats it rolled into are resistance and HP, neither of which are flat stats, which is really, really nice. I wasn't going to get too picky about it. It's nice to have extra attack on Hraesvelg, but more than anything, it's nice to have that extra 2,000 HP I believe it gave him with the 8% or 6% HP. The resistance is nice because he'll get stunned less, hopefully, in Giants. His speed didn't really take a hit from changing the rune either. Of course, his slot 2 is maxed, so the only way his speed is going to be going up is by getting speed substats in his slot 3 and his slot 6. Other than that, his slot 1, I guess, could get more speed, but it's pretty hard to take off this rune when it's got speed, crit rate, crit damage, and accuracy, all at pretty decent levels. So he's going to be pretty much capped out for now until I get some runes that are more insane. Other than that, I have been looking at Sigmaris a lot more. He is on 100% crit rate because that's what has been working for me. It also helps with the second skill, which is a stun if you receive a critical hit, or a freeze if you receive a critical hit on the enemy. So the 100% critical rate helps with the crystals, because it'll always land a freeze on the crystals if it doesn't kill them. Most of the time the multiplier should kill. It also helps in arena against water monsters. Just give me a little bit more consistency in my cleave. And I'll talk about arena in a minute, but it's really nice to have the 100% crit rate for the cleave. Vertihil is 6-starred with an attack crit or a speed crit damage attack build, or speed crit damage HP build, I'm sorry. I do have him runed up. It's not permanent runes. It's not, amazing runes. I kind of just wanted to play around with Vert a little bit, and I did need one extra unit for Guild Siege. The runes aren't terrible. I'm not really taking away from anybody who would have decent runes anyways. I don't have a speed-based damage dealer at all yet, but all of these runes, as you can tell, have pretty ideal substats, I would say, when it comes to, a speed-based damage dealer at this point in the game. Also a rune set that I could probably put on a Spectra, although it's pretty slow if I think about it. It's actually pretty slow for a Spectra. Spectra needs around 250 speed. But like I said, it was just spare runes that I had lying around, so I thought I'd put them on Vertihil and rune him up. In terms of Veramos, he has not been touched, and I haven't really messed with any of my supports because I don't want to mess with any of the consistencies of my runs. I can start taking off runes from Bella if I really need to. Bella at this point is just a Guild Wars and Guild Siege monster. I'll show you guys my Giants team in 1 minute that has been getting all my rune priority. I do have Beretta runed up. That really helped with the TOA levels, which meant that Poseidon does not have runes anymore. So any Despair runes I'm going to be getting are going to go on Poseidon because he is missing a slot 1, 2, and a slot 5. So Despair Energy, speed HP defense or speed HP attack, some mixture of those. Just have a little bit of damage and a little bit of survivability on Poseidon. He's mostly there to land his second and third skill, so speed and accuracy are going to be the two highest priorities for him. Probably mostly going to be used in PvP. He'll go into a Dragon's team eventually, but he's not going to go into a Dragon's team until his stats are a lot higher than they are now. And he might actually go in as a damage dealer as well. It is Fire Day today, so I am considering awakening my Trevor. Other than that, I have the Walkers, I believe, and Hua that also need to be awakened, so those monsters will be awakened as well. I'm sorry, this is Randy. Those monsters will be awakened well if I have time. I do have an XP booster as well, so I'll probably be leveling up some of these other monsters if I have time to. I do have a lot of 4-star Rainbow Mons, so I do need to make some 4-star max level fodder so that I can start making my next 6-star, and that will likely be Poseidon, because Poseidon's the only monster I can really see as a viable 6-star at this point in the game. No other monsters here are going to get much use. Eladriel will get tank, but I don't have runes for him. And Pungbake is still just sitting here having fun, doing whatever. Let's see, that's about it for monsters. I'll show you guys the storage box in case you're curious. I know some people are kind of weird about that. Not too much has happened in there. I do have another 5-star fodder in there, I guess. Yeah, that's about it. I have been getting a lot of these water Anubises, which is, a little bit sad. It'd be nice to get a lighter dark one, of course. I have opened quite a few light and dark scrolls between TOA and events, and I think this Light Death Knight was like my first notable pull besides Faye since the beginning of the game. Oh, also I have all these Rakunis that I'm saving up because eventually I am going to build a Rakuni. Really nice support monster, good in Guild Wars and a few other places in the game. He's good in RTA as well. He's got some niche uses. I still have my Fire Joker fodders in case I ever pull a Lucian and suddenly want to fuse a bunch of JoJos for skill ups. Other than that, mostly skill up monsters here in the storage box. Let's head over into TOA just to show you guys. I am at TOA hard 39, finished TOA normal 100. I might push forward to 50 if I can. I'm not super concerned about it. It's nice to get those extra scrolls and the extra crystals if I can. So far I'll show you guys my Giants team currently. I do have a lot of crystals, as you've noticed, but that is because every month I set aside a certain amount of money that I'll be spending on crystals just so I could farm throughout the month and progress as quickly as possible. So likely will just be the 3,000 crystal pack every month. This is my Giants team. It's been working pretty consistently. The failure rate is very low at this point. The only way to reduce the failure rate even more is to give everybody more speed. Like I've mentioned in a previous video, my Charlotte, my Sigmaris, and my Hraesvelg all want around plus 80 to plus 100 speed to really make this team go faster. And that's what I really like about this team is even with Charlotte and Sigmaris at virtually no additional speed, they're both sitting around 100 to 110 speed. They still perform the way they need to. They still do a lot of damage. But like I said, ideally I would increase their speed by 80 to 100 and keep these exact stats. And if I did so, I could likely speed up my runs by 30, maybe 40 seconds and get 1 minute runs. It's not too unobtainable or unachievable with this team. This team has a lot of potential to progress as my rune quality increases, which is really nice. I love this team since it scales with my rune quality, because the monsters will just keep getting better as the runes get better. Their skills, of course, all have really decent multipliers. Hraesvelg, more than anything, he's there for the brand. He's got the attack speed increase and the attack buff he gives everybody. And when his third skill's off of cooldown, the speed he has is pretty insane. So he sits around 200 speed, I believe, after his third skill goes off. And then, of course, I've got Galleon here. Galleon's been getting more Swift rune priority than Megan, so his speed will hopefully be going up in the future. I would like to get him around 250 speed, and when you get your Galleon around 250 speed, he basically sets the clock for the rest of your team, and the rest of your team can just be as fast as possible. And you see here the run was 136. This was a pretty decent run. Nobody died. You'll see a lot of runs where I'll have 3 units die, and it's still not a huge problem because Veromos or Hraesvelg are both capable of soloing the boss essentially with dots. The dots are basically a safety mechanism in case the rest of the team fails, which is really nice. Also, I have Charlotte's attack bar reduction and glancing debuff to put on the boss, which also helps the survivability of the team. Mostly what would kill the team is double stun from the golems and then both of the towers going off, but usually that only results in losing Sigmaris. And even without Sigmaris, there's occasionally, there's times where I've lost Sigmaris when nobody crits on the second wave, and it's still not a huge deal. Both towers will go off, or I'll lose Sigmaris here at the boss stage because everyone will just keep getting locked with the freezes from the golems. And it's not a huge deal. Sigmaris' damage output is nice. All it really does is increase the damage done to the boss and decrease the time it takes to kill it, so it's not a huge deal. Also, Sigmaris' leadership skill helps a lot here, just for survivability of the team. If it was a full win team, maybe I wouldn't need it, but no matter what, Galleon's going to take big hits without that HP buff, so it's nice to have Sigmaris here. Also, the brand from Hraesvelg is a huge contribution to the damage. There's a lot of different things going on in this team, a lot of different debuffs to apply to the boss, but by far the most important is the defense break from Galleon, and when you stack that with the branding effect, you will see massive hits from everybody on your team. Even Veromos with attack buff will be hitting 8 to 9k sometimes with his first skill. You'll see right here, 9.7k on a crit, so that's kind of crazy. I've even thought about putting Veromos on a damage build again. Last free rune removal, I did put him on a speed crit damage HP build. He still had around 20,000, 25,000 HP, but his hits were significantly harder, hitting around 17k with his first skill, which is pretty funny, to see a Veromos hitting that hard. I'm gonna cut that out for the Giants runs for now. I think you guys see what's going on there. But that's where my Giants team is about right now. I did 6-star Vertihil. I haven't played around in Dragons just because my Spectra is unruned. This is the team I would be running if I was in Dragons right now. The problem is with Galleon getting my rune priority, my Megan is kind of slow and kind of lacking any HP or defense, really. Well, she's got double defense, but even then her defense stats are still pretty low. And I wouldn't want to bring a Megan into here without plus 15, 6-starred, slot 2, 4, and 6 runes for her. Also, my Spectra is another unit I'd probably bring here, so if I were really to run a team, I'd probably want it to be a lot faster, and I'd probably want to bring in Spectra. But if I brought in Spectra, I'd have to take out Sig, and I don't know, it would be a whole mess. So I'm probably still not going to worry about Dragons until I have fast, swift blade sets for Tarks, and then just go double Tark, Galleon, Vertihil, and then +1. +1 would likely either be Stella or Poseidon, because both of them add a lot of stability to the team and bring a lot of utility when it comes to taking down the boss. So I'll probably still stay in Giants for another month or 2, maybe 3 months, however long it really takes for my runes to get to a point where I really like them. You'll see I have no glory points currently. I did get my Rainbow Mon for the week. I am at, low battery. I am at 90 Ifrit summoning pieces. So this week, if we get enough guild battles between the guild battles, the guild battle reward, and the guild siege reward, I will probably have enough Ifrit pieces to summon my first Ifrit. I'll make that an independent video of the update video, I believe, unless I have enough content to create another episode of From the Crumbs. Otherwise, I'll just update it. I'll update you guys and make a 1-minute video of me summoning the Ifrit. I'm really excited for that. That's going to help my progression a lot, and it's probably going to it's going to influence my progression in one way or another. The Tessarian as an additional unit for Guild Wars and Guild Siege, and possibly even in some arena matches, Tessarian would be really useful for taking out Camillas and Pernas. Also, Amir would help my Giants run, because I might actually sub somebody out for Amir. If I did pull Amir, maybe I'd sub out Sigmaris and find a way to make that team work. I'm not 100% sure yet. And of course, Theomars would just, he'd be an additional nuker for me to have. He'd probably be the least influential to my progression overall, but one of the most fun units to play with. We do have a Guild Siege going on. Not too much to say about this, other than Guild Siege at this rank is not anything huge. We are ranking, I believe, we are ranking like Conqueror 1 sometimes, Conqueror 2. We've ranked pretty decently before. Most of the time our trophy boxes are around B+, so nothing huge. Some scrolls occasionally, some summoning stones. Other than that, my World Boss teams still aren't complete because I just don't have enough monsters, and I don't really want to put in all the time and effort to create those teams. It's not really worth it, as it would stunt my progression. Runes of note, there's not too many crazy runes here. Most of the runes that I'm keeping are still like 5-star with 3 or more decent substats on them, so pretty much only 5-star hero or legendary runes. I do have some awkward runes sitting around with crit damage and speed and all that, but mostly right now I've been hunting for better Fatal Blade runes so that I could increase the damage output of my team, and I'm really looking for these speed-based runes for Charlotte. I'd like her to get back on a Despair set as soon as possible, but I will refuse to put her on a Despair set unless the damage output is at least close to this Fatal set currently is right now. So the stats you're seeing are about the stats I'd want her on a Despair set. Maybe minus 200 or 300 attack for the speed slot in slot 2 so that I could get her at plus 80 to plus 100 speed. Other than that, I'm going to spend most of my time farming. I am still farming on the Leica account, so I will be posting a video about that account soon. I have an update or two on there. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this short update video, and I hope you guys will join me again in the next one. Have a good one.